Hi guys, Forgotten Wolf here, and this is the 2025 F1 season, but qualifying decides the championships. Before we begin, this took a ton of time to make, so please like, share, and subscribe, and let's begin. As a side note, the FL rule is still into place here, so yeah, let's get into it. In Australia, Lando Norris sweeps the weekend, getting pole and the race win. Moving to China now, I know that's very fast, but nothing much happens in Australia. In China, Lewis Hamilton won both the sprint and got pole for the sprint, so technically sweep of the sprint, but counting sprint as 0.5 wins. So yeah. Moving on to the actual China race now, Piastri would sweep the race, taking the championship lead with pole and the win. And in Japan, it'd be another sweep of the weekend. This time not by a McLaren, it'd be Max Verstappen getting pole, meaning he wins the race, and of course he ended up winning the actual Japan race. In Bahrain, it'd be shocker, another sweep, with Piastri sweeping the weekend. That's insane. He's on fire right now. Yeah, and in Saudi Arabia, it wouldn't be a sweep for once. Hooray! But it would be Piastri winning again. Actually, no, it wouldn't be Piastri. He won the real-life race, but Verstappen got pole, meaning Verstappen actually wins. After 5 rounds, the top 5 in the standings are as follows. Piastri, Verstappen, Russell, then Norris, only in 4th, struggling, while Leclerc sits in 5th, not even with 100 points. In the Constructors' standings, McLaren lead, while Aston Martin haven't even scored. Wow, great job, guys. Moving to Miami, and Antonelli got pole for the sprint, meaning technically he wins his first race of his career. Like I said, I'm counting sprints as like 0.5 wins, so technically it's his first half win. In the actual race, Piastri won in real life, but it'd be Max Verstappen who gets another win by taking pole, meaning he has more wins than both the McLarens at this point, as he keeps taking the wins because he keeps getting pole, while the McLarens win the actual real life race. In Imola, funny enough, Verstappen won, but ironically, Piastri got pole, meaning it's a reverse of roles with Piastri winning the race. That definitely would make Max Verstappen mad in real life, but that is really funny. I almost said Lando Norris. In Monaco, Lando Norris got pole, won the actual race, so he sweeps the weekend, meaning Norris takes his first win since Australia, and only now starting to close the gap to Verstappen in second place, but he's got a long ways to go. In Spain, Piastri would get back to taking care of business with another sweep of the weekend, and with this, Piastri still has the championship lead by this point, but this time by 29 points, with only one more win than Verstappen, just showing how Verstappen is really carrying that Red Bull to where it should be. In third place, it is Lando Norris, still more than 10 points behind Verstappen. Russell falls to 4th, and Leclerc in 5th, still not with 100 points in the season. God, Ferrari were so ass last season, oh my god. Moving to the Constructors really quick. McLaren are dominating, while Mercedes overtake Red Bull for 2nd, and Aston climb up to 7th. Now it's time to finish off the first half of the season with Russell waking from his slumber in Canada with the first Mercedes sweep of a weekend. And Norris doesn't suffer that big crash with Piastri, meaning he doesn't take a huge dent to his championship blow in real life because he didn't DNF in qualifying. Lando Norris' comeback continues in Austria with Norris sweeping the weekend, taking his 3rd win of the season. And while Norris does get pole, it's Verstappen who wins. Because reasons. Yeah. And yeah, that's a shame for Norris, but oh well. Getting back to the races, in the Belgium sprint, Verstappen gets pole, but Piastri won, so it's like Imola 2.0. Focusing on Piastri, he starts to regain his championship lead with a sweep in Belgium, further extending his lead over Norris and Verstappen. And in Hungary, Norris won the actual race, but Leclerc got pole, meaning he takes the first and only non-sprint win for Ferrari. That's really depressing. And spoilers, that's going to be the last time I mention Ferrari outside of the standings recaps. Entering the summer break, I will go over the standings really quick for both championships as we are halfway through the season. Piastri still leads, followed by Norris, then Verstappen, and Russell. There's a gap to Leclerc and Hamilton, and then Antonelli, and in 8th place it's Alonso, who is followed by the 2 Williams of Albon and Sainz in 9th and 10th. Hadjar is in 11th, while Tsunoda sits in 13th. 12th. Gasly's 13th, followed by 14th Lawson, 15th Stroll, 16th Bortoleto, and 17th Ocon, while Hulkenberg, Doohan, and Colapinto are the only drivers yet to score. That's really sad. And yeah, for the constructor standings, McLaren lead Mercedes, followed by Ferrari, then Red Bull. Just that Red Bull is so ass, they're somehow behind Ferrari. Williams are in 5th place, leading RB in 6th by only 10 points. Aston Martin still sit in 7th place. Alpine in 8th, ahead of 9th place Haas, while Sauber's at dead last with Bortoleto's 11 points. Hulkenberg hasn't scored. That's sad. Back to the racing. In the second half of the season, it's bad for Norris the first half of the second half of the season. It's bad for Norris as all his rivals sweep a weekend. Piastri sweeps Netherlands, Verstappen sweeps Italy and Baku, and for the championship, Norris actually gets passed by Verstappen for second, while Piastri struggles as well with his lead as Verstappen, sitting in a fairly comfortable 23 points, but Verstappen is now within a race win away from taking the championship. In Singapore, George Russell gets his redemption for 2023 and wins the race, and thanks to pole, while also getting the win in real life, meaning once again, for the second time, George Russell sweeps the weekend. Piastri and McLaren start to struggle as Verstappen sweeps the USA weekend, winning both the USA sprint and race, getting pole for both the sprint and race, and that's just insane. While in the background, Norris continues to close the gap to Piastri, while Verstappen and Piastri duke it out for the championship lead, while McLaren have won the constructor standings by this point. In Mexico, Norris and McLaren return to winning ways as Norris sweeps the weekend, taking his first win since Belgium, and first win of the second half of the season, and it's McLaren's first win since Netherlands, sorely needed for both driver and team. Norris regains his form from this, where he sweeps the Brazil sprint, moving him into second place in the driver standings, and then overtaking Verstappen. And Norris does a Verstappen and sweeps the Brazil weekend with pole and the actual win in the Brazil race, meaning he goes into the lead of the driver standings, overtaking Piastri by 2 points with just 3 weekends to go. In Las Vegas, Verstappen won the actual race, but Norris wins this new race thanks to him getting pole. And as a side note, the McLarens were disqualified from the race, not qualifying, which means Norris takes his 4th win in a row. Verstappen doesn't win because the McLarens didn't get disqualified in qualifying. Moving on to Qatar, Piastri wins the Qatar sprint, sweeping it with pole and taking his first win since Netherlands, but it looks to be too little too late as Verstappen denies him the complete sweep since he got the actual race win, but Piastri still does win thanks to pole. Entering Abu Dhabi, Norris just needs to finish in the top 5 to be champion, while Piastri needs Norris outside the top 5 in order to win, and he needs to sweep the weekend. But however, that doesn't happen as Max Verstappen sweeps the Abu Dhabi weekend, meaning Lando Norris, like real life, is the world champion. Lando Norris wins the championship, although this time it's with a lot better of a comeback. He was screwed. He looked screwed after Baku and Monza. I will go over the full standings for both championships now. In the drivers, Norris wins the Drivers' World Championship, followed by Piastri, then Verstappen, which in real life the last two were the other way around. In 4th, it's Russell, then Leclerc in 5th, Antonelli in 6th, Hamilton in 7th. I just did the 6-7, I don't know why I just did that. Sainz, Hadjar, and Alonso rounded the top 10 in the driver standings, while in 11th place it goes to Lawson, followed by Tsunoda, while Albon fails to score in any race in the second half of the season, meaning he falls to 13th place, 60 points behind Sainz. What the hell? After Albon, it's Gasly in 14th, Bortoleto in 15th, Behrman in 16th, Ocon in 17th, Stroll in 18th, and Hulkenberg in 19th. Really a disaster for Stroll and Hulkenberg. Only 2 drivers failed to score, being Colapinto and Doohan. And moving on to the constructor standings, McLaren already won it earlier, but they had 889 points in the season, almost 900 points. To think if McLaren were better in the second half of the season, they could have gotten to 1,000 points. That's legitimately insane to think about. And Mercedes sit in second second place, with Red Bull and Ferrari not being too far behind. Albon's poor performances mean RB jump Williams to 5th place, and Williams have to settle for 6th place. Aston Martin stay in 7th, while Haas beat Alpine to 8th, and with Alpine having to settle for 9th. This means that Sauber finished dead last, although with 27 points, technically tied with Alpine. That does it for this video, and thank you so much for watching. If this video does well, I'll see if with this calculating system, if Red Bull got to 1,000 points in 2023. And yeah, but that does it for this video. We are 1 sub off 150 subscribers and part 2 of the FNAF timeline. So please subscribe, that'd be very much appreciated. But until then, bye!